Hello, all my puppy lovers. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to go over some tips and tricks for naval combat so you guys can win almost every single fight in Sea of Thieves. And frankly, just overall how to run your crew. Frankly, I see a lot of crews in Sea of Thieves that are just unorganized, just don't know what to do. So in this video, we'll go over those things and hopefully make you a very, very dangerous pirate on the Sea of Thieves. So first, before we get into this video, if you guys find this video really helpful and that stuff, please like and share. It really helps out the channel out a lot. It helps people find these videos out a little bit more and will help this channel grow a significant amount. And if you really do enjoy the tutorials and want to learn more on Sea of Thieves, I do Sea of Thieves tutorials quite often on the channel. So please click that subscribe button and click that bell to never miss one of these videos so you guys can have a competitive edge. With that said, let's get into the tips and tricks. So before we get into the combat part of this guide, we first need to go over roles. Roles are very helpful. It will keep your crew organized and it will make you win significantly more fights. Since being in an NAL, which if you don't know what NAL is, it is the Notorious Arena League, which is pretty much esports for Sea of Thieves. Since being in an NAL, since having my role as a cannoneer and stuff, I have learned the value of roles and it keeping our crew very organized and allowing us to win a lot of fights. So I'm going to mention the roles. You can make up your own or you can use the ones that we have. It doesn't really matter, but you need to have roles and assign them to the people who have these strengths. So the first role that we have is the helmsman. The helmsman is pretty much the boss of the galleon. He's always the one that's saying raise sails, lower sails, yes to go to board. Never jump off your boat, by the way. It's up to the helmsman. You need to ask permission from the helmsman. The helmsman will never leave the boat. The helmsman will always be on the helm, always steering the boats, trying to get you cannon angles, trying to always say raise the sails to try and get a sharper turn, harpoon turn, and that stuff. But that's not the only thing that the helmsman does. He does try and keep a lookout, keep awareness out for boarders, other ships, and also the cannon angle for the other players. If you have people on the cannons, and if let's say you're a helmsman, look out and see where they're firing. If it's a little bit low, then tell them to shoot a little bit higher. If it's a little bit too high, tell them to shoot a little bit lower. You have a better, I guess, viewpoint of where to see where their cannonballs are going. And frankly, you need to tell them where it's going. You cannot sink people just shooting in the water and just, I guess, spraying and praying that you'll hit them with your cannonballs. That's not how it works. The helmsman does need to help the players on the cannons and say you need to do it a little bit higher and that stuff. So the second role we have is the bilge. What does the bilge do? Well, the bilge just mainly repairs, keeps the boat in tip-top shape, and shoots cannons. If you get holes on the bottom deck of your boat, having one or two holes isn't bad, but when you're getting like a lot of cannonballs getting shot at you, that's when the bilge goes down and starts repairing and that stuff, tries to keep the ship at tip-top shape, and just like raise lower sails and that stuff, stay on cannons. That's their main, I guess, role. That's just what they generally do for bilge. Keeping the ship in tip-top shape and that stuff. That's all they really need to do. That's the main role. Shooting cannons. They never go out to board. They're always on the boat, same as the helmsman. So yeah, that's pretty much the bilge in a nutshell. So the third role we have is the flex. The flex is the guy that does a little bit of everything. He raises sails, he lowers sails, he angles sails, he does harpoon turns, he shoots cannons. He goes down and buckets when the bilge needs it, not anyone else unless he's really in a bad predicament where he needs everyone down there to repair and that stuff. Frankly, the flex does a little bit of everything. If you're going to send a boarder, it would be the flex. The flex is generally who you want to pick for a flex is somebody who's really good at land PvP because he's going to be the one boarding. None of the other roles, unless you're wanting to mess around, that's a little bit different. But frankly, the flex is somebody that does a little bit of everything. If he says, let's say the helmsman says, sails need to be raised, he's going to be the one that goes there and raises the sails. So that's pretty much the flex. So last but not least, we have the cannoneer, and frankly, I don't really need to explain this one. Frankly, he just shoots cannons. He does raise and lower sails and angle them at times, but mainly if you're in, let's say, a broadside, which we'll go into broads and just right and left and that stuff a little bit later in the video. Frankly, his main goal is to shoot cannons. He does angle and raise and lower sails a little bit, but mainly he's just going to sit there on the cannons and that stuff, shooting chain shots, cursed balls. He's going to be always the one that has the first picks when it comes to the specials. Curse balls, chain shots, fireball, and splutter bombs. So yeah, that's pretty much just the cannoneer. There isn't really much else to go over with the cannoneer. It's pretty much just explains itself just hearing the role. So something that often happens is you may have a crewmate that will often, I guess, confuse their right and left, or they'll be facing you and you'll be like, right cannons, and they go to your left, and you're like, oh, what are you doing? I said, right cannons. And their right is your left, and your left is their right, and it creates a whole mess of problems. So frankly, there's an easy fix to this, and that is stern, bow, port, and starboard. The bow is where the figurehead is. It's the very front of the ship where the harpoons are. It is where all the sails are pointing to, and that is the bow. The stern, the opposite, the back of the ship. The port side is your left side when facing the bow, and your starboard is your right side, pretty much just the opposite of the port side. And frankly, just doing it this way will help a lot with time, and it will help a lot with confusion and that stuff, so people won't get confused as easily and that stuff. And frankly, you should win a lot more battles just knowing this information, and it's just overall really helpful. So I'm going to go over a few PvP tips and tricks before I end this video off. Frankly, boarders will come over, they'll try and ruin your day, they'll throw fire bombs, they'll throw blunder bombs. It is the helm's job to keep an eye out for that stuff. If they see a merm in the water, they need to say which side, they need to say guard ladders, they need to say things so you guys don't get boarded and you don't get your anchor dropped. Because it is a pain in the butt to have your anchor dropped. Frankly, it's just an inconvenience. It's just annoying. Like, you can't turn it all around where you just don't have problems. However, it's annoying, and you would just rather it not happen at all. So, frankly, when someone boards your boat, the helmsman, he just stays on the helm. If the helmsman wants to help, get sniper and pistol, and then just shoot them from a distance. Don't go up in close combat and that stuff, because sometimes you do need to steer away from their cannon fire and that stuff, because most likely, if they got a board on you, their cannons are really close and are able to shoot upon you. So just keep that in mind. So pretty much have the helmsman stay on the helm, keep steering and that stuff. For everyone else, deal with the border. Unless you're like repairing your bilging and that stuff, just stinking go deal with the border. If somebody, let's say he drops the anchor, then somebody grab the anchor. You need to have that anchor continuously up because you need to continuously move. And let's say someone dies, don't worry about resing them. Just deal with the border quickly. You can use blunder bombs. I recommend using a sword and sword spamming personally, because that's the meta right now. But frankly, just deal with the border ASAP. If the anchor drops, just everyone, the helmsman even, get off the helm. Just raise that pupper up as quickly as possible and then start leaving. So those are all the tips and tricks I have for you today, guys. I hope you guys found the video helpful. If you did, please share this video with your friends and your crewmates. It really does help out the channel quite a lot. And please click the like button down below. It turns it from a depressing gray to a very happy shade of blue. It makes me happy, it makes you happy, and it makes the YouTube algorithm happy. And if you guys don't want to miss one of these tutorials, please click the subscribe button down below and click that bell to never miss one of these videos to get a little bit of a competitive edge on the seas. And yeah, I'll see you dudes in the next video.